What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here. And today we're going to be comparing Polymer80s to stock Glocks, as well as custom Glock builds, and what you should do and the reasoning for all of them. So first we'll start with the Polymer80s. The positives to a Polymer80 is, other than the obvious, is you can build it from scratch pretty cheap. You know, the frame costs 100, 150. They used to be 60 to 80. And so it's not that expensive from the start. You can make a very cheap build, get away with a $350, $400 build that does function majority of the time. This build right here is my most expensive Glock Polymer80 because I actually put some effort into this when it comes to the parts. Like I have a Safari precision barrel, Light bullseye sights. I have this awesome backplate I just got yesterday, which is awesome for a Polymer80. Hooper Gunworks slide and Glock internals. The one thing I don't like about Polymer80s is the grip. I don't think there's enough texture. And also, they don't make a whole grip for the Polymer80 that fits a Polymer80 specifically. I'm just so used to the Glock feel and the finger grooves on the Gen 3 that this feels weird to me. But I do carry this as a pocket pistol, and it has been reliable. The benefits to a Polymer80 is also it comes with a rail. Even these small models have a rail. This is the subcompact version. Like I said, it comes with a rail. The Gen 3s don't. Now, another great reason for Polymer80s is you can experiment. For instance, here, I wanted to have a firearm that would take both 9 and 40 just by switching the barrel and ejector. So in this case, this is a Glock 27 40 cal slide, but right now it's suited up for 9mm with a conversion barrel. So I didn't spend that much on the build. The slide was like $90 or $100. Other than Glock internals, I put nothing into this, cheap $15 sights, but it was an awesome experiment, and it ended up paying out and working great. And now I have a firearm I can do 9 and 40. And it's just awesome to have, like I said, rail. And you learn a lot about Glocks. You learn a lot about firearms, what works, what doesn't. By building Polymer80s, that's why I recommend it. It's mostly a learning process. And it's also about taking your time. And when you're done, it's just a really good feel to know that you put in the work to make your firearm work. And it won't always work right out of the box because you're taking all sorts of parts that weren't made in one factory to work together. And you're throwing them together, and each have a different amount of tolerance that it can handle. Therefore, it takes some time for it to mesh. And if that's not the case, you might have to change out a few parts here and there. But it is a great experience to build. Now, I do recommend having stock Glocks, and mainly for carry. Change out the sight, and that's about all you need. You're going to, especially with the Gen 3s, they're proven reliable, proven over 20 years, and it's a great firearm. So I do recommend always having a stock version for carry or just to have. And then on top of that, go ahead and build, your customs. Now, the great thing, this is my favorite thing. I like building this better than Polymer80s. Now, you do have to get the slide, obviously, through an FFL, because that is considered the firearm for a Glock. But paying $60 for a slide and a $10 FFL fee, that's not bad, because you're not spending $500 right out of the box and then paying all this extra money to build it to your liking. You start off with a $60 or $70, start for the frame. You throw in Glock internals, Apex trigger, my favorite color slide, stainless steel, the sights you want, a good barrel, aftermarket guide rod, whatever. And now you have a perfect carry gun. But what's better about having a Glock frame over a Polymer80 frame is the parts are basically guaranteed to fit. If you use Glock internals, they're going to fit perfectly and they're going to function right away. So I've heard a lot of problems with Polymer80s and because of where people drill the holes. Well, the thing about Glock frames is the holes are always drilled perfectly. I've had zero issues with any of these builds, where I've had a couple issues with Polymer80s, not necessarily related to the holes I drilled, but just the parts and how they fit in this frame, because this is not made in a Glock factory, and it's made for Glock parts, but it is different, as you can see, size and everything else. It is thinner than a Glock 26 frame, but I like having them all. To be honest, if you can afford to do them all, do them all. But I do think Polymer80s are a great experience. You learn a lot about firearms, a lot about Glocks, and also it feels good at the end of the build. Thanks for watching.